Hailey has been meta ever since she was released over 2 years ago, mainly because of her debuff. The Molten Hot can stack with damage reduction additively, right? So you have 60% damage reduction and you have 20% from her Molten Hot debuff, which gives you 80% damage reduction. But now her days are numbered. She's almost out of the meta for False Auto Fantasy. She's still being used for one of the boss, which is going to be Phobiter, but for two of the boss, Sonica and Dark Starlord, she has been completely replaced, and you might have guessed it already, the replacement is going to be Sieg, but only if you have R4 Sieg. Sieg and her does similar things, but the difference is Sieg's debuff can stack up to 30% defense lower, which means if you have Defense Break and Echo Scar, you'll be able to reduce the enemy's defense to 100%, so you're basically ignoring defense at that point. First, I'm going to show you the Counter Sonica team. Usually you would use her in the second team with Sloan, so that you can get her debuff and also extend the debuff all the way to your team 3, right? But in Counter Sonica, you cannot perma cycle, so your team 3 cannot benefit that much from Hailey's debuff. At most, your team 3 will get out of the debuff from Hailey about 2 million. I'll show you a few runs with Sloan and Hailey and how much the team can score. So you're getting about 73 million plus Chu Yao, so about 74 million. 70 million again, and 63 million, so around 60 to 70 million with the Sloan and Hailey team, right? And now I'll show you the Sieg team. The set I have on Sieg is going to be Relief and Avatara with a lot of speed, and again, you do need to have an R4 Sieg for this to work. I've already showcased his R2 in Counter Sonica and every other bosses, and he doesn't work because the main problem that he has is the Echo Scar without his R4 is very low uptime, and it's also very hard for you to increase the Echo Scar stacks on the boss if you don't have his R4. And there we go. Sloan is scoring about 67, but you also have Sieg as the DPS as well, right? So you're scoring 67 or 70 million with Sloan, and then your Sieg is going to do about 20 million to 30 million. So in total, you'll be able to score 90 to 100 million plus with the Sloan team now. The highest I've seen with this team is 145 million, where my Sloan did 120 million, Sieg did 22 million. The biggest RNG with the Sloan team is whether you run Sieg or whether you run Hailey is whether you can line up the turn perfectly so that your Sloan can move every single time Counter Sonica goes into that AFK mode, right? So when you can tune it perfectly and when you get the perfect RNG, your Sloan will not be debuffed by Sonica, so you won't get the damage reduction. At that point, your Sloan will be able to hit for above 100 million plus. This team is better than Hailey team by about 20 million plus. But again, you do need to have an R4 Sieg for this to work. Without an R4 Sieg, it is way worse than what you would get from Hailey, right? Yeah, look at that. 100 and something, 123 million. Again, it can go up to 140 million plus with this team. Alright, let me show you the set real quick for this team. Sloan is going to be on Thunder Avatara. Your Sieg again is going to be on a fast relief set and Avatara. You can also go with Fiery set if you can't get the crit rate to 100%. Metadrew is just going to be on Relief set. You can also run him no gear. It doesn't really matter that much. Chu Yao will be on Astral set, Broken set, as much speed as possible. Sakura will be on Harmony and Avatara because you want her to reapply this Vigor Guard on your allies as soon as possible. You can play around with her speed. You can run her at 0 speed, but for me, 51 speed is the sweet spot where I can get Sloan to move right after Sonica does her S3, right? But in Counter Sonica, she is not entirely replaced. If you do have an R4 meta era, again, I'm going to keep bringing this up because at this point, R4 meta era and R6 Unas is going to be the mainstay for False Auto Fantasy. So in my Guildmates account, where he has R6 Unas and R4 meta era, you can run Hailey in Team 1. So you run Hailey in Team 1, you run her on Thunder set, and then you run your Liam on a Calamity set. And this team could be better if you have Meta Era at level 1, where she's not too high of an attack. Because right now, Hailey's S3, the Smelting Mastery buff, will first go to Valeria, and then it goes to Era, and then it will go to Liam. So I've already taken a look at the run, and my Liam only gets the Smelting Mastery at turn 45 or something like that. So half of the fight, he does not even get the Smelting Mastery. I think this team is better than Shenpin team, but again, you do need to have R4 Meta Era and also R6 Unas. If you don't have this resonance that I mentioned, then this team will not work because you don't have enough AP control. Alright, the next boss is going to be Dark Starlord. I've already showed you this team in my previous video. This guy was the first one to use Sieg in the Elite team, but STS Momo was the one to make this team work better. There's two ways you can build this team. one with a lot of RNG and one with low RNG. Again, previously you would run Hailey in this elite team, and the score you can get with this team is around 190 to 240 million, but it is a lot of RNG for you to get 240 million. Now with Sieg, you can get upwards of 300 million plus. Again, you do need an R4 Sieg for this to work, and the other important resonance is going to be R2 Ggez. If your Ggez is not R2, this team can still work, but you would lose over 50 million score. The reason why R2 Ggez is very important is because she resets the cooldown of the ally with the warm welcome, right? And with this team, you want to get the warm welcome on the Sieg. I'll show you the less RNG way, which is going to be building your Sieg with lower HP than your Elif. So right now my Elif has about 44.5 thousand HP, whereas my Sieg has about 43,000, right? The set you're going to be using him on is going to be Thunder set. You can also use Avatara if you want to. No speed required, with a lot of attack and crit damage. Again, lower HP than your Elif to get the lowest RNG possible. Your Feng Shui is going to be on a fast harmony set and Avatara. And then your Ggez is going to be on Relief, Avatara with a lot of speed. Dusheng is going to be on Astral, HP, and Avatara. Get him as high HP as possible. So by having a lower HP than your Elif, the RNG is a lot lower. You can get upwards of 330 million with the lower RNG team. But most of the time it's going to hover between 290 to 300 million. And there we go, 298. 150 million on Sieg. Again, this time your Sieg is going to be doing more damage than your Elif because by getting the warm welcome buff, because he has lower HP than your Elif, he's going to stack up the accentuated buff faster. But most importantly, R2 Ggez will be able to call your Sieg to gain an additional turn and also reset his S2 and S3. This is very important. Again, if you don't have an R2 Ggez, your score would be 40 to 50 million lower. The most important thing with this team is going to be Sieg spamming his S2 and S3. If you cannot spam his S2 and S3, his debuff uptime is very low. The boss is going to cycle out of his debuffs, and you'll most of the time only have 2 stacks of the debuff on the boss. But if you are able to cycle his S2 and S3 consistently through R2 Ggez effect, then you'll be able to maintain the debuff at 10 stacks at all times. So there we go, 308 million. I'll do a couple more runs and then I'll show you the higher RNG team. So with the lower RNG team, you'll be able to score between 290 million to 330 million. But 330 million does take a lot of RNG for you to get. There we go, 304 million. Alright, now I'm going to show you the higher RNG team. The only difference for this setup is going to be having your Elif as the lowest HP at the start of battle. And the difference in HP between Elif and Sieg, you need to get it as close as possible. So right now, the difference in HP I have with between Sieg and Elif is going to be 474 HP. Now the reason why this is very important is because Dark Starlord can reduce the HP cap. So at the start of battle, your Ggez buff is going to go to your Elif so that you can stack up the accentuated buff faster. So that way you have 10 stacks of accentuated buff on your Elif, while also be able to spam your Sieg skill with your R2 Ggez, right? Again, this team has a lot of RNG. Most of the time you're going to be scoring below 220 million. But if you do get a really good RNG, then you can get 350 million. The highest I've seen is 356 million. But again, it does take a lot of tries. There we go, 317 million. Typically, you'll get above 300 million in 1 in 10 runs, something like that. But to get above 330 million, that would be, oh, there we go, 347 back to back. Usually like this type of score would require you to run about 20 to 30 times to get like 330 million plus. Right now I'm getting really lucky, but again, most of the runs is going to be below 220 million. Because again, if you cannot get Dark Starlord to reduce the HP cap of your Sieg, then you won't be able to spam Sieg's skill, his S2 and S3, which means you won't be able to stack up his Echo Scar debuff, right? If you can't stack up the Echo Scar debuff, you won't be able to do more damage on your Elif, and your Sieg is also not going to be doing a lot of damage. Look at that, 87 million. So if you're not looking to spend a lot of crystals, and if you are just trying to maintain your rank for the week, I would advise you guys to just go for the lesser RNG team where you would run Sieg as the lowest HP in the team at the start of combat, right? But if you want to break your high score and maybe get a better ranking with that higher score that you get, then going for the higher RNG team is going to be better for you, because the difference is quite a lot. The lower RNG team, maximum you can get 330 million, whereas the high RNG team, again, you can get upwards of 356 million, so around 30 million increase. And again, when it comes to Darksala, you not only have to roll for your second team with your elite team, you also need to roll for your Sloan team, right? The Sloan team, the range is between like 60 million to 125 million. So, look at that, 347 million again. So if you have to roll a lot of times for your elite team and you don't roll a good RNG on your Sloan team, then you're still not going to get a good score, right? So yeah, when it comes to this, you have to pick which one you want, whether you want to maintain your ranking for the week or whether you want to rank up to get a better rank and use the higher RNG team. Otherwise, it's better to use the lower RNG one. Alright, so right here my Elif is getting the Ggez buff. So ideally, I would get 5 tints with Elif so I can stack up 10 of the accentuated buff. And as soon as I get 10 stacks of the accentuated buff, Darksala will then lower my HP cap on Sieg so that he has the lowest HP in the team, right? So Ggez will be able to transfer her buff to Sieg at that point. Yeah, his S1 randomly attacks 2 enemies 2 times. Each hit has a chance of decreasing the enemy's max HP, so you do need to rely on his S1 to attack Sieg. So there's a lot of RNG, like I said, and if the RNG doesn't favor you, then this team will perform significantly worse than if you were to run Sieg as the lowest HP in the team, right? So, okay, now he managed to lower my HP cap on Sieg, and now my Sieg has the lowest HP in the team. It's also very important for you to have high HP on your Feng Shun and Lu Shang, because you don't want them to steal the Ggez buff, right? If they manage to steal Ggez buff, then this team is also going to fail because they won't be able to benefit from Ggez S3. I have a level 70 Feng Shun, so he has a lot of HP, so I can run him on crit damage, attack and speed. But if you don't have a level 70 Feng Shun, you might want to run him on crit damage, HP and speed instead. And when it comes to your Lu Shang, you definitely want to run him HP, speed, and have his HP above like 50,000 if you can. Even if you have to sacrifice a little bit of speed on your Lu Shang to gain more HP, then that's probably the best way to go, because if he is HP cap lowered by Darksala and he has the lowest HP in the team, then you're gonna get significantly worse score. Ggez HP does not matter because her buff will not go to her. Again, if you don't have an R2 Ggez, your score maximum you can get 300 million. You cannot get above like 300 million if you don't have an R2 Ggez. The cooldown reduction that she has with her R2 is very necessary. One more thing I forgot to mention, if you do have an R6 Moriyama, then you would still run Hailey, because Moriyama is still better in the Elite team for you to perma cycle, right? But if you don't have R6 Moriyama, then you would completely remove Hailey from Darksala team and also your Sonica team, right? When it comes to 4-bitter, Hailey cannot be removed solely because of the bug. The bug that allows her debuff to carry over to the second and third team is very crucial for 4-bitter, because this team can perma cycle. If you can perma cycle, then Hailey is going to be better than Sieg. But if they do fix the bug, then Hailey is also going to be completely removed from 4-bitter as well. So yeah, that's about it. Again, I have not been playing this game all that much because I'm playing a lot of 7 Deadly Sins. The game went from an anniversary patch to one of the biggest collab in gaming history. I'm not even lying. The collab is solo leveling. So yeah, I've been playing the game non-stop ever since the anniversary patch to now, right? With the solo leveling collab. And in DISLYTE, there is absolutely nothing to do. That's about it. Ciao.